Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at another legend team for the Open Great League, and we're going to have a team here around the Shadow Charizard mainly, and this is from a Japanese player, which you most likely see right now on the screen anyway, and they were running the normal Swampert. And before we start into the video, I have to say, please run normal Swampert if you have a normal Swampert. I don't have a normal Swampert with decent IVs, so I went for my Shadow variant, and I can say the Shadow variant is way worse in a lot of matchups, and you really want to have the additional bulk over the additional damage. So just in case you want to run this team as well, if you have a normal Swampert, this team would be even better than it was for me, and this team was already really nice for me. Before I was running a different legend team, which was the Shadow Venusaur, the Diogong, as well as the Azumarill, and it did not work out at all for me. So this is the team that you're going to see here right now. The other one I went really bad with. This team I went really positive with. Even though my opponent was able to catch a move here, this does not really matter to us at all, because what we can do here right now, we can get our energy back, and we can just swap into our Registeel, hardwalling the opponent's Azumarill. And honestly, I have to say, there are basically no Registeel around anymore. I don't see any Registeel. I don't know where they're gone. Like, honestly, I have no idea where they went. But, like, there's basically no Registeel anymore. Like, the only Steel type there's here right now is going to be the Alolan Sandslash. And I don't know why people are not using Registeel anymore. This Pokemon is still super overpowered. But honestly, at least in my MEWeedle range, I don't really see anybody using this. I'm actually getting closer to Expert as well, which is kind of nice. Just trying to use some actual decent teams from other people and stuff, running Spice the entire time. But here, for example, we're still going to be able to get to another Hydro Cannon, get the shield from the opponent. And I'm going to let this move go through, as I hope that my Charizard can sweep endgame here, as I can swap out now. And let's see what they're going to have in the back. Of course, they're going to have the Alolan Sandslash in the back, which I already said before. So, we're going to have a great matchup here, as the opponent decides to forfeit this game, as there was nothing they can do anymore. Next game, great lead for us. We have to keep alignment, of course, because I don't want to have the opponent's Carbink onto my Charizard. This is basically the worst possible matchup for my Charizard. So here we're going to see that I can go into my Registeel. Registeel will be able to go for a Zap Cannon eventually, and we are going to use the shield on the first one, because maybe we're going to get the debuff, but they're going to even get to the next one in time, which is a little bit awkward. But it's fine, we can take this one as well, and we can now go for a Zap Cannon, which will get the debuff here, which is really nice for me. This is really important, because now I can easily take this next charge move. This would not be the case if I didn't get the debuff there. I would have been definitely way lower with that and would be way riskier. But like this, I can realign, go for another charge move against the opponent's Carbink, which is going to get not the debuff, but they're going to swap out into the Trevenant. And I'm going to make an interesting play here right now. I don't know if this was a smart or a bad play for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and go for the no shield here. The opponent expects me to use a shield, because I guess it's kind of obvious that I would shield there, and like this, I'm going to be easily able to win this game. But like my thought at least was, even if I'm going to go down there, I think they were in range for a Hydro Cannon plus some mud shot damage from my Swampert already, so there was no reason for me to do anything else. Next opponent, we're going to see a Greninja in the lead. This is going to be a difficult Pokemon for this team to deal with. Our Registeel can deal with it, but like, what do I do here? Do I swap out into my Charizard and just go down immediately? Do I stay in here and try to bait? Do I, like, it's just literally one of the worst possible Pokemon to face for this team, because only my Registeel is going to be able to do something against it. It's not even that great though, like it's not even that great, and we're gonna get kind of hardwalled here by the Gligar anyway. So like this game is basically over at this point already. Greninja, a very tough Pokemon to deal with. I actually made a video for Greninja as well, which I'm most likely going to keep until the next time Great League comes around. But Greninja, a very good Pokemon in the current meta as well. Definitely something that you can try out if you want to. Here we're going to see the Gligar coming in. We're going to be able to go for a Hydro Cannon against the opponent. And this is going to hopefully get the knockout. But they're still going to have 2 shields left. We can still try to go for a Hydro Cannon, but we lose CMP against the Greninja. And Greninja is literally just destroying us here. As we will see the Hydro Cannon coming through. We can try to win this game, but they have a Registeel in the back. And there is not a lot that I can do about it. A rare Registeel, but yeah, Greninja is definitely a tough one. For the team, actually, Medicham is a little bit tough to deal with as well, I feel like, but it's fine. We're going to take this loss here, as you're going to see a Lickitung against us. We can go for one charge move here, and maybe, just maybe, they're going to shield up the second one, because maybe that's going to knock them out, but they know about it, and they're going to know no shield the second one as well, and as you can see here, it just barely doesn't knock them out, as we can now swap onto our Registeel, so we keep alive our Swampert, as well as we're going to get some farm here as the opponent, of course, going to have the Escavalier in the back, because why not? Honestly, I'm so surprised that I see actually quite a lot of Escavalier recently, with Drillman as well as Megahorn. don't really know why. I guess you can beat something like a Registeel. I guess you can beat something like the Alone Sandslash. But you're kind of really weak against the flying type Pokemon now. It's even worse for you with Gligar. And otherwise, I'm not sure. Like, I feel like there are better Pokemon than Escavalier for the Great League. I tried to catch a move, didn't work out, but look at this game from Charizard. Charizard can just go for a Blast Burn, gonna get the shield. The opponent decides to swap out into the Medicham. We have to count till Nice Punch, and this is going to now go through as well, which the opponent is going to take and going to go down from it. And now we will see the opponent going back into the Escavalier. I still reach my Dragon Claw on time, which is insanely overpowered for us, as we can now get the knockout against the opponent as well. And the Charizard is just getting a triple 3 here, which is just insane to be seen. So great one there, Charizard winning us the game. As we have a great lead for the next game. We're going to have a Gligar against us here, which is going to be fairly decent as the opponent swaps into a Lickitung. Same play as before. It does not really bother me at all that they try to catch the move here, because I can just swap on into my Registeel, and I think I can just go for a Zapkin, and I might not even be able to knock them out and get some decent farm down here. So let's see what we can do. We are going to go ahead and take those charge moves from the opponent, which literally does nothing here against me. And I'm gonna go actually for the Focus Blast, get the guaranteed KO, and keep my 25 energy for later, which I feel like is a decent play as well, as you're going to now see the Gligar coming back in. They still are forced to go for the Dig to knock me out, and we will find out here right now that we're gonna get the debuff, which is actually bad for me that we got the debuff here. Because as you can see here, the Dig is barely not going to knock me out now, and the opponent going to have to still get to another fast move. But luckily they decide to go into the Lantern. I can go for the bait here because it's obvious that I'm going to go for the Earthquake. And now I'm still going to be able to reach the Earthquake in time in order to hit the opponent with it and get the knockout, winning us this game here already, because there's not a lot that they can do about it. I can use a shield here against the opponent's Aerial Ace, as this will allow me to get the final shield of the opponent. I can swap out afterwards into my Charizard. Charizard easily can take an Aerial Ace from the opponent. Dig doesn't do any damage against me because it's resisted. So this Aerial Ace is still going to chunk a bit, but it's not going to knock me out yet, and I can just go for my Blast Burn. Finish up this game as well, and Shadow Charizard is coming in clutch again here. Definitely Shadow Charizard, a very strong Pokemon in the current meta. But again, if you have a normal Swampert is ideal for this team. You don't really want to have the Shadow Bonus on this Pokemon here. But here, I was able to actually catch the move onto my Registeel, which is really nice against this Umbreon, as they decide to go into a Granbull. This kind of tells me that they're most likely running Umbreon Double Charm, which is actually a line, but it's kind of awkward to play against. So yeah, we're going to be able to get the attack drop here, which does not really matter too much. I think they're going to be forced to go for a charge move anyway. Maybe it does matter a little bit, I don't know. But I can still get to another charge move here. I don't get the debuff, which is fine. Like, it's a 66% chance, so like, you're going to miss the debuff sometimes. Crunch goes through. I'm going to let this move go through. I'm going to use a shield here. So I didn't expect that the opponent would have had 2 crunches already, but I will be able to reach another charge move, and they don't run Double Charm. They're running a Zoom Roll in the back, which is going to make this matchup a little bit awkward, and the entire team loses to Registeel, so good thing that I'm going to not have my Registeel around anymore. But I'm still going to be able to take this move, as this should only be an Ice Beam as far as I can see here, and I can swap out into my Charizard, going up to the Blast Burn, and now going for a Dragon Claw, so I don't have to use a shield against the opponent, while still maintaining some energy onto my Charizard. In comes the Umbreon again, but this is still going to be a tough one to win, because Umbreon is just so bulky. I can still go for at least a Blast Burn here, which is going to do a ton of damage, around like 60% of the opponent's health, which is nice. But I'm going to be forced to go for a Dragon Claw now, as there's no that I can do otherwise. This is going to get them low, but I don't have a shield anymore. They're going to be able to knock me down, and now this game is kind of over. Or is it? I can still farm them down here, have a Hydro Cannon, and this Shadow Granbull. Definitely will not appreciate the incoming Hydro Cannon, as this is going to get the knockout against the opponent, and we can move on into the next game. Next game coming up, we're going to encounter the Swampert against the Sableye. What I usually do here is I'm just going to go for one charge move and then swap out, because I'm going to outspeed the opponent. This might give me a shield advantage, and even if not, I'm going to still be fine with my Registeel taking those charge moves way better than with my Swampert. So I'm going to be able to get the shield advantage here. I'm going to swap out into my Registeel, tank those foul plays, and I will just be able to go for a Zapkin afterwards. I could decide to shield this move up, but I don't even want to shield this move up, as I can still just go for the Zapkin here. They're still forced to go for for another charge move of themselves, and we will see that I don't get the debuff here, which is kind of awkward, but it's still going to be okay, I think, as I can just use a shield here and still get to another charge move in time afterwards. So this is looking fairly decent for me. I still have my shield advantage with this, and I will be able to just go ahead and get the knockout here, which is amazing for me, of course, as we can now move on into the next matchup, which is going to be Carbink, which is super good for us because I really needed to get rid of this Pokemon in order to have any play for my Charizard, which of course against a Superior going to be the case, and we can now move on to the next game as we were able to completely wall the opponent now. Next opponent, this is going to be an Umbreon that's going to play it out a little bit differently as far as I remember. We're going to see here that they're going to still go for a charge move here perfectly onto our Registeel, which was really nice for us to catch this move, as now our Swampert has a ton of energy advantage, as well as we can just tank those charge moves here fairly easily onto our Registeel. I decided to go for the harder hitting move with Focus Blast, as we're now going to put them into range for even a Dragon Claw most likely from the Charizard after a little bit of wing attack damage. So we're going to put them into a range where I can just easily knock them out. But also, I can just take this move again, and now I can either realign or get the shield advantage, and both of them I'm totally fine with. I still have a charge move on my Swampert, so they cannot restore anything, so I decide to let this move go through. And they reveal that they're going to have a Wigglytuff in the bag, kinda telling again that they're most likely going to run Double Charm in the bag, which is kinda awkward that this is kinda the current meta here. But we're just going to get the knockout, and yes, they are running Double Charm with an Alolan Ninetales here in the back. I can just go straight for the Blast Burn. They decide to shield this move up, of course, but I'm just gonna get them low. You see the lag as well here coming up, which was always something that bothered me during the entire day, by the way. I had so much frame drops with this team, which is just like, of course, not reason for this team, but like the game itself was really laggy for me. Let me know in the comment section how it is for you right now. Like, do you also have like those stutter lags the entire time? It's just annoying to play against. Next opponent, we're going to see the Medicham in lead. Here, for example, I would always try to swap out after 8. If the opponent throws earlier, it's okay. But it's like, again, a better matchup for you if you have a Shadow Swampert, because you don't really take that much damage from the opponent's counter then, and they're kind of forced to go up to 8. So, like, honestly, non-Shadow Swampert would be so much better. I hope that we're going to get another event where we can get the pre-evolution for it, so I can just get better IVs for it, because I really want to have a non-Shadow Swampert for the Great League right now, which is just feelingly at least a little bit better. Here we're going to see the matchup against the Charizard, and you're going to see me using both my shields, because my goal was to snipe them later with my Swampert, but my opponent predicts this, of course, and just lets their Pokemon go through, or like go down, as I can still reach a Zap Cannon here against the opponent, allowing me to get them fairly low. And I can now swap out into my Charizard, trying to farm them all the way down here. So we are going to be able to take this Ice Punch for sure after the debuff, and we're going to see the double in the back. This is still going to be a difficult one to win though, because double is going to outspeed me. We have a lot of kind of weird lag as well there, but the Blast Burn is coming through. This is going to not knock them out, but put them perfectly into farmland range for my Swampert. But sadly, the opponent played this perfectly fine here, and they are going to have still a Psychic stored now after this Ice Punch, which is a great play by the opponent. You're just barely going to be able to have both of them stored. Oh no, never mind, they have a Dynamic Punch instead. So yeah, Dynamic Punch is going to be, of course, a little bit awkward there for us, as they're going to be able to win this game because of it. I don't think they had a Psychic even like with that, so like, yeah, Dynamic Punch was the better move to go for them. Here again, a matchup where I like to have the normal Swampert, because you can take a Psycho Boost way easier from a Deoxys. Here I was deciding to swap out into my Registeel. They're deciding to stay in, which is actually fine for me, as I can just take the charge moves here. Sadly, the new meta is kind of around Thunderbolt on this Pokemon. Back in the day, Rock Slide was more common on the Deoxys. I actually don't know why Thunderbolt is now more common on Deoxys, to be fair. Like, honestly, I don't really get it. But I guess for Azumarill, like, but I don't really see Azumarill too often either. I don't know. But we got to see now the Umbreon coming in here, which is not ideal either, as we are going to go for a charge move here, which is going to allow us to swap into our Charizard to catch the next charge move. Because we have a little bit more health here on the Charizard, I decided to let this move go through. But I'm going to be forced to shield up everything else afterwards. And of course, if we're going to encounter the opponent's Carbink here with our Charizard, this is not looking good at all for us. Like, it's literally the worst possible matchup for me. I did not really keep track on the energy, but I thought they would be close to a Rock Slide here. So I decided to go for another, charge move there. I'm fairly certain they would have outsped me too before I would be able to farm them down. But like this game is basically over already. Like, there's not a lot that I can do about it. I can use a shield here against the opponent's foul play, but in the end, the opponent's Umbreon has around like 70 energy stored after like swapping out there, so like there's not a lot that I can do about it. Here you can see already they can get to another one, and with this, it's clear for me that I cannot outspeed them, so I'm going to give them the win. Kinda unfortunate, of course, to land your Charizard against the Carbink. Next opponent, fairly decent lead. It's actually not as great as it was before, but you're going to now see the Medicham coming in. As we're going to see here, they're gonna go straight for the Ice Punch, which is a smart play. And again, I feel like it's a little bit clunky, as you can see also with the fast move animation being not really sync. We're going to still be able to go for a Blast Burn, just knock them out. And here I might have been able to go for 2 Dragon Claws against the opponent. Never mind, I could have maybe went for a Blast Burn though. Blast Burn would have been definitely nicer. I think I would have been able to get there for sure, which would have maybe put them even into range for a Hydro Cannon, so this might be my mistake. And you're going to see me use a shield here because I don't really want to get my Swampert too low, and this was a mistake because they're going to run a Superior in the back. And while you might expect here that the Registeel is going to be such a great matchup against Superior, you are wrong. You're literally wrong. The thing is that, yes, you're going to most likely win this in neutral scenarios against it, but you are way outsped by the opponent because like Frenzy Plant is going to get there after 6, 6, and 5 fast moves, which is really fast. Plus, the opponent is going to be able to just, yeah, withstand those charge moves, as you can see here. It's not going to do enough damage here, as well as the opponent can now swap out. Nice swap out by them. I was able to still store a charge move there, and I'm going to decide to go straight for the Earthquake, which is my only play in this scenario, and this is going to get the knockout against the opponent, but I'm forced to go for a shield here, hoping that I can still reach another charge move, and I just barely off of it. And like this, I needed one more fast move against the opponent. Maybe I should have tried to leave a Surf, like let a Surf go through there in order to try to win this game. But sadly, I will not be able to win this game here right now because the opponent just barely gets to another charge move here. Good game to them, as we can now finish this video. So hopefully you enjoyed this Legend team. If you did, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.